Hello students, let's do data handling exercise 26B, page number 272. Now in this exercise, we will be doing a pictorial representation of data called pictograph. That is what we're going to be doing here. A lot of pictographs we'll be doing. Now we need to carefully work this out. Here we'll be using pictures to show data. Right, now the first one, the question says the sale of vehicles in a particular city during the first 6 months of the year 2016 is shown below. Now we need to draw a pictograph to represent this given data. So the first step is by looking at this table, we have to think of how many columns to draw. As you can see, we have two rows here. One is month and the second row is number of vehicles sold. We put that in the form of a chart, a table like this. Now we have month and number of vehicles sold. Now at the bottom of this table you can see scale. Now scale is very important. That is, now what are we going to present here? What are we going to show here? We're going to show pictures of vehicles. Since the first question is on sale of vehicles, we'll be showing pictures of vehicles. Now the first part, it says in January 3,000 vehicles were sold. Now we cannot draw 3,000 vehicles here, isn't it? So instead we're going to have a scale where I'm going to use one car to show 500 vehicles. Okay, now how do we choose the scale? Now think of a number that can divide all the numbers that you can see here. So you have 3,000, 2,500, 4,000, 1,000, 1,500 and 3,500. Now if you use 500, 500 can divide all these numbers. Now if I think of using 1,000, 1,000 can divide 3,000 but not 2,500. So you need to think of a number which can divide all these numbers. So I've chosen 500 that can divide all. You need to choose a big number. All these can be divided by 5. It can be divided by 10. But you need to think of a big number. So the biggest that we got is 500. So every time I draw one car, it will represent 500 vehicles. So now let's begin. So in January, 3,000 cars were sold. Now 3,000, let's write this in the working column. Now we're going to divide it by 500. Okay, 500 because we have decided to use one car to show 500 vehicles. So what we have to do is take each number and divide it by that scale. So here I'm doing the easier way of division. So let's cancel all the zeros. So now I have 30 numerator and 5 denominator. Divide 30 by 5. 5 sixes are 30. That means instead of 3,000, I just have to have 6 cars. Okay, so let's begin. So we have one car there. Now we need to have 6. So 1 is 500. 2 will be 1,000. 1,500. 2,000. 2,500 and 3,000. So we have 6 cars there. Now let's go on to February. Now February has 2,500. That means how many cars should we have? Now 2,500 divided by the scale, which is 500. Let's cancel the zeros. So when you cancel zeros, you get 25 divided by 5. 5 fives are 25. So we have to draw 5 vehicles here, 5 cars for the month of February, each one representing 500 vehicles. So let's have 5 cars here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So in the month of February, we have 5 cars. Now let's go on to March. So we have 4,000 there. So again take 4,000 and divide it by the scale, which is 500. Now let's cancel. So there are 2 zeros in 500, so I can take away 2 zeros there. Now 40 divided by 5, 5 eighths are 40. That means we need to have 8 cars there in the month of March. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 8 cars for the month of March, which will show 4,000 vehicles. Now April has 1,000. So let's divide 1,000 by 500. So where are we getting this 500 from? From the scale which is there at the bottom of this table. So cancel 2 zeros. So 10 divided by 5. 5 twos are 10. That means in the month of April we need to show only 2 cars. So 1 and 2. Now we'll go on to May. In the month of May there are 1,500 vehicles sold. So now let's write 1,500 divided by 500. So cancel the 2 zeros. Now we have 15 divided by 5. 5 threes are 15. So the month of May, we need to show 3 cars. 1, 2 and 3. Now in June, the table says it's 3,500. So let's take 3,500 and divide it by 500. Now cancel the 2 zeros. Divide 35 by 5. 5 sevens are 35. So we should show 7 vehicles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So we have shown all the vehicles according to the question given. So this is a pictograph. We have used pictures to represent data, and something that's very important is your scale, because everything depends on the scale. Let's go on to question 2. Question 2. The following pictograph shows the number of cars sold by 4 dealers A, B, C and D in the city. So this is already given to us this time. These are all the vehicles sold by dealers, and the scale is also given to us. That means one car. Okay, so this is just one. One car is equal to 50 cars. So every time you see 1, remember it is actually 50. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's 50 into 3, because each car is standing for 50 cars. So now the table is already given to us. The pictograph is already shown clearly. Now we need to answer questions. Using the pictograph drawn above, answer the following. How many more cars has dealer A sold as compared to dealer D? That means first we need to find out how many cars dealer A sold. Okay, so now let's count how many cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now there are 6 cars here, and each car represents 50 cars. So that means we need to do 6 into 50. That will give us the actual number of cars. Now 6 fives are 30, and then you add a 0. That means dealer A sold 300 cars. Dealer A. Now they're asking us to compare it to dealer D. So let's go to D and count 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 4 into 50. 4 cars we can see here, and each car stands for 50 cars. So 4 into 50, 4 fives are 20, and then add the 0. So dealer D sold 200 cars. Now the question is, how many more cars has dealer A sold? Now dealer A sold more than D, isn't it? You can see. How many more is the question. So how do we find that? By subtracting 300 minus 200. So the answer is 100. So dealer A sold 100 cars more than dealer D. Next question. What is the total number of cars sold by all the dealers? Okay, so we have to find out how many cars were sold by each one and then add up all. We already know dealer A sold 300 cars. Now let's see dealer B. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 cars. That is 5 into 50. Each one is a symbol. Each car is a symbol of 50 cars. It's standing for 50. So 5 into 50. 5 fives are 25 and 0. So we have 250 cars. Now let's go on to dealer C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 8 into 50. 8 fives are 40 and carry the other 0 also, 400 cars. So now we know how many cars each dealer sold. So our second question is, what is the total number of cars sold by all the dealers? So we have to add 300 plus 250 plus 400 plus 200. We have to add this up and see. So let's add 300 plus 250. 300 plus 250 plus 400 plus 200. So we have to add up these. Let's add this up and see. So here we get 0. Here we only have 5. Now 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. So we've got 1150. Now this is the total number of cars sold by all the dealers. So this is our second answer. Question 3. The following pictograph shows the number of watches manufactured by a factory in a particular week, and the scale is also given to us. So we have this pictograph. The first column is days, second column is number of watches manufactured. Now the scale tells us each symbol of a watch stands for 100 watches. So when you see one symbol, remember it stands for 100 watches. Now, based on this pictograph, let's answer a few questions. Question 1. On which day were the least number of watches manufactured? Just by looking at the pictograph, you can see that it is on Friday. The least number of watches were manufactured on Friday. So that is our answer to the first question. Question 2. Total number of watches manufactured in the whole week we need to find out. And remember, here each one stands for 100 watches, each symbol. So now what we can do is we can count totally how many watches are there. That is one way of doing. Another way is you can check for each day how many watches were there and add it all up. So let's try this different method now here, where we count totally all the number of watches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on Monday, there are 8 symbols. Tuesday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we have a half there. So that is 10 and a half symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. So 5 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On Thursday it is 6. On Friday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. And on Saturday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. 7 and a half. So now what we can do is we can count these numbers that we have written here. So we can count 8 plus 10 and a half that way. So 8, then we'll write 10 and a half, then we have 5 and a half, then we have 6, 5 and 7 and a half. Okay, now let's count the halves here. Now half plus half will give us 1. 1 plus half is 1 and a half. So I'll put this 1 and a half and I'll carry 1 and leave the half here. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 plus 6 is 20. 20 plus 5 is 25. 25 plus 7 is 32. So carry 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we have 42 and a half. So we have 42 and a half symbols given there. So 42 and a half into 100, because each watch stands for 100 watches. Now first let's multiply 42 into 100. So when you multiply only 42 into 100, you write 42 into 1 is 42 and add the 2 zeros. Now we have half also here, isn't it? We have 42 and a half. So half a symbol is equal to half of 100, which is 50. So 4200 plus 50 will give us 4250. So this is the total number of watches manufactured in the whole week. So like I said, this is one way of doing it. Another way is for each day you can count. Like Monday you have 8, you can make it 8 into 100, 800. Similarly, you can do for all the other days and add up those numbers. Question 4. The number of animals in 5 villages are as follows. So we've got a table that tells us that there are 5 villages and how many animals there are in each village. Now we have to prepare a pictograph. And here they're telling us in the question, one animal, one symbol here or one animal is used to represent 20 animals. So the scale is already given to us. It's 20 animals and we have this, okay? So we're going to have the first animal there here shown here and that is going to represent 20 animals. So we have our table already here and now we're going to use this symbol, each one standing for 20 animals. Okay, so now let's begin. Now here it says in village A, 160 animals were there. Now we can't draw 160 animals here, isn't it? So we have taken one animal to represent 20 animals. Now this scale is already given to us. So what we have to do is take the number of animals given in the table and divide it by the scale. Scale is 20. Now cancel. 2 8s are 16. So now we've got a much smaller number. So we can show 8 animals. Instead of showing 160 animals, we just have to show 8 animals. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So we've got for village A. Now look at village B. So village B has 240 animals. We can't draw 240. So we're going to use the scale. Okay, in the scale 20 animals can be shown with the help of drawing just one animal. Let's cancel. Now 24 divided by 2. 2 12s are 24. So we have to draw 12 animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So we've got 12 animals shown here. So this is showing the number of animals in village B. Now we're going to go on to village C. Village C has 180 animals. We're going to divide this by 20, the scale. Okay, now 18 divided by 2. 2 9s are 18. So village C, we just have to draw 9 animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 9 there. Now let's go on to village D. Village D, 80. Village D has 80 animals. We're going to divide this by 20. Now we can cancel the zeros. 2 4s are 8. So we have to show 4 animals in village D. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each animal here is representing 20 animals. Okay, now let's go on to village E. Village E has 120 animals. Now we're going to divide this by 20. Now let's see how many animals are there in village E. So 2 6s are 12. So we have to draw 6 animals here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we have drawn our pictograph based on the table that's given to us and the scale. It's very important that we follow the scale. So we've finished question 4. Question 5. The following pictograph shows the number of books of different subjects. So we have Hindi, English, Math, Science and History. And the books are shown here. Now we need a scale. And the scale is also given to us. One book is equal to 50 books. So when you see each book here, remember each one stands for 50 books. Now we have to answer these questions. How many history books are there in the library? So history, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 4 into 50 because each one stands for 50 books. So 4 5s are 20 and then 0. So that's 200. So there are 200 history books in the library. Next one, how many science books are there? So science, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have a half symbol here, a half book. So first we have 5, so that is 5 into 50. 5 5s are 25 and then 0. Now we have half a book. One book stands for 50 books, so half will stand for half of 50, which is 25. So plus 25. 250 plus 25 is 275. So there are 275 science books in the library. Next question. Which subject has the maximum number of books? So as you can see, English. You can easily look at the pictograph and make out there are many more books in English than the other subjects. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So English is the subject which has the maximum number of books. So let's write that down. So this is how we work out questions on pictograph or draw a pictograph. So with this we come to the end of our exercise. Thank you, children.